When you know who you are and you're clear about the big impact you're called to make in the earth, you are unstoppable. Well, hello, everybody. It is time for the Unstoppable You podcast with me, Tish Times. I am a business and sales coach, and I love teaching professionals to be more confident, make much more money, and change lives. This podcast always features lively discussions with savvy business and life experts, and we want to give you tips for building better business relationships, moving your confidence needle in the right direction, shortening your sales cycle, and achieving massive success without compromising your core values. If you want more information about myself, the things that we do, just hop over to tishtimes.com. You can find all that over there. But I'd love to hang out with you more here. So if you have found us, hit the subscribe button so that you can continue to hear what's going on here at the Unstoppable You podcast, meet all our fabulous guests. And if you found us on the Facebook page, make sure you hit that like button so you can always be made aware when we have a new episode coming. So today I get to hang out with one of my friends, and I mean that, my friend, Miss Lisa Ann Landry. She has over 30 years experience in training and the training and development industry. She's delivered over 30,000 hours of training and over 5,000 training dates. She is a certified coach working with professionals on presentation skills, career management, and content marketing. She has a book. I'm going to talk about that, about content marketing. She's trained thousands of business leaders and corporate employees worldwide. She has designed and delivered training programs for organizations focusing on communication, emotional intelligence, management, and social media. And she is, as I mentioned, the best-selling author of Content Marketing, How to Get Started. And that book is The Business. She's going to tell you a little bit about it. Miss Lisa Ann Landry, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here talking to one of my favorite people. So come on with it. Tell me, what do you want to know? How can I help? What tips can I give you?
Well, what I want the people to hear from you first off, we always love to read the bio because I want people to know the expertise they're dealing with. But tell me and tell them, what's one thing that isn't on your bio that you want people to know about yourself?
You know, one thing on my bio is that, I'm ever evolving, I'm always changing. And sometimes I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid of what, other small business owners are going to think, well, she can't make up her mind. She's doing this and now she's doing that and now she's doing something different. Yeah. But I really think strategically about the business moves I make to make sure they all tie in together. So I think one thing that's not really on my bio is I am a really strategic thinker. And I've been that way since I was a little girl. I remember when we were kids, it's like my two sisters and my brother and I'm the oldest. And our chores, we had to clean the house up. So I'm strategizing in my head the most efficient and effective way for all of us to get the house clean so we could go outside and play, right? So I've been that way for a long time.
I believe you. I absolutely believe you. And for those of y'all, we'll try to keep the private moments off the podcast, but just know I spent a lot of time with Lisa. We've stayed in the same hotel, sometime in the same room. We have spent time together. So I know that she is a strategic thinker and I know what she's talking about is absolutely true. So, Lisa Ann, I think for all of us, myself included, have had to evolve into a confident person, a confident business leader. And I think we also have days where we don't feel so confident. But what would you say is your confidence story? What has caused you to grow into the leader that you are today?
I knew that you were going to ask this question, and I thought I was going to give you a different answer than I'm about to give you right now. But talking to you, it just made me think of something. When I see people do stuff, and I'm like, I can do that. I'm not doing it right now, but I can do it. Yeah. And so things that, I was this way since I was a kid. So, my mom, she wouldn't let us have a real job until we were of age. So I was bored. So I just kept going to school. And I went to school weekends and nights. And I ended up graduating from high school a year early. And then I did the same thing in college. I graduated a year early. I remember in college, I always wanted to be a model. And I'm awfully short and curvy for that. Mm-hmm. So I went to this modeling audition and I didn't get accepted. And so I just made up in my mind, when I finish college, I'm going to go to modeling school. And I went to modeling school and became an instructor. So
Wow.
I think, there are other things that happened. I went to this beauty pageant and I saw the contestants and I'm like, okay, they wouldn't be no competition for me. So I the next year I got in the beauty pageant and I won Miss Black Tulsa, Miss Black Oklahoma, top 10 in Miss Black America. So the thing is I'm unstoppable because I'm not afraid to try things, right? Does that answer your question?
That is such a good answer. I love it so much. I love it so much because.
But listen, I don't. I have failed at things.
Oh yeah.
So we've all failed, right?
Mhm.
But we fail forward. We don't fail backwards. So when I fail, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to try that again, or that's just not for me, right? Because I didn't win Miss Black Oklahoma, but I made top 10, right? And I never been in any pageants before. So.
Oh, I love it. I think that it's it breaks my heart when people won't try. They have a desire. You might hear them say, I'd love to do that one day, but it always gets followed by a but. But, like you said, I'm too short, but I'm too curvy, but I'm too this. And the thing I see about you, Lisa Ann, is that you are so, just uncompromisingly willing to do what it takes to move forward. And I love that about you.
Thank you for that.
I'm so excited for those that are listening to hear more about you and really get to know you in that way, because I've seen that in action and I know that to be the case. So tell me this, who have you had to become in order to be this unstoppable woman that you are? Because, I'm not the same person that I was when I started my business. I know you aren't either. We're not even the same people that we were even last year. So
yeah, absolutely.
you have to become in order to attain the level of success that you currently enjoy.
So I have to fill myself with positive voices, positive music, positive. Every night I listen to abundance music. So that I start my day off with wealth and abundance and stuff. So I had to turn off those voices in my head that say, this is not going to work out. You can't do this. You need to go get a real job because being an entrepreneur isn't a real job. I had to turn all those voices off, and I have to make sure to surround myself with people who don't feed me that negativity. So I cut myself off from that. I don't surround myself with those kind of people. I don't watch that kind of stuff on television. I don't watch the news, that kind of thing.
I love that. And people don't realize how intentional we must be in order to cut that out, because it's constant. I've heard people say, I don't remember where I heard it originally, but someone said, you may not be able to stop the birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest on your top of your head.
Absolutely.
It's like,
and you can move around to not get poo-pooed on, right?
We have to be intentional about what we want. The voices may come, but we don't have to embrace them. We don't have to listen to what they have to say and take it on for ourselves. So I can totally appreciate that. People don't always understand, why I don't watch the news. People will ask me, you didn't know about that? I'm like, I didn't. I'm sorry. Because I intentionally stopped all those voices.
Me too. And you know what I've learned? If the world is coming to an end, one of your friends are going to call you and let you know.
Somebody on Facebook, somebody will tell
right.
you.
Exactly.
That's the truth. Goodness gracious. So there are lots of connections in our lives that really sometimes help us to move to the next level. Sometimes they help us get out of our own way. Sometimes they shake us up and cause us to have to rethink things. What have been the most important connections in your life? The people that have made the biggest impact for you?
When I look at entertainers and superstar athletes, I admire where they are, but I look into their history and they did not start out as superstars, right? They had to be persistent and persevere. And so I really look at that stuff and I respect that stuff. Oprah Winfrey did not become a billionaire overnight, nor did Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, none of them. And their stories are so powerful because they did not have it easy. Steve Jobs got fired from his own company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it's those kind of stories that really help me understand that whatever you want to do, you have to be persistent at it and stick to it, because fame does not come overnight. Success does not come overnight.
Mm. I love how we can have distant mentors. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Someone doesn't have to be in our space for us to
yes,
learn from their, whether it's their mistakes or their
yes.
successes or whatever. So I totally, I can appreciate that for sure. Lisa Ann, if you had to sum up your journey in one word, what would that word be and why?
Just perseverance. I make up my mind and then I work as hard and as long as I have to make it happen. So, and like I said, I just learned that from watching other people, that knowing their stories and knowing their trials and tribulations, that they had to be persistent and be committed to whatever they had made up into their mind.
I love that. What do you do when you know in your head you have to be persistent, but everything in you is telling you to stop? I've been talking about that. I taught a class this morning about not quitting, because I think as business owners, we know, intellectually, we know we have to keep moving forward. We know we have to be persistent. How do you deal with it when everything in you wants to stop, even though you know you should move forward?
Sometimes I just take a break. Sometimes, like, especially when I'm stuck on a problem and I can't see the fix, one thing that really, really helps me is to go for a walk.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, but going for a walk, out in the sunshine, like I'm sitting outside in the sunshine because I know I'm able to think more creatively when I'm outdoors and in the sun. And then when I walk, I solve all the problems of the world. I mean, sometimes it's when I drive. So sometimes I just have to step away from what's going on because I'm too embroiled in it to see the solution or to see, the horizon that's coming, and then revisit it. And then I have a new kind of energy. I have a new kind of tone, new words or something that helps me talk to people and get through to them.
I love that. That's a really good piece of advice, because so often we do say, push through it, stand firm, don't move. And sometimes it does take step back, maybe get a different perspective, because our perspective can get skewed when we're all, it's so close to us and we're in the
Right,
middle of it. So
right.
I appreciate that.
I get really irritated at myself because, like, some problems I've had for a while and I couldn't come up with a solution. And then I go for a walk and I come up with the simplest solution. I'm like, why couldn't I come up with that before? I mean, why now? So,
Yeah.
I just proved to myself that walking and being outdoors in nature really helps me to do some creative thinking for when I get stuck.
Oh, I love that. You know what's interesting? I am the kind of person that will keep trying to go, keep trying to go, keep trying to go. And someone had told me not long ago that I needed to rest. I needed to stop and rest. And what's really funny is when I started taking that advice, I started to get ideas in my dreams.
Right.
Yeah, so I had gotten
Amazing.
like two or three really great ideas that took me out of a slump in a dream. And I'm like, man, if I would have just took my butt to sleep instead of keep trying to fix it, I'd have been a much further along, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Oh man. Well, Lisa, tell us a little bit about your book, because I love your book. I know most of the people who have read it love your book, and I know that there are a lot of companies who use it even for training. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what went into it, and what is it about it that is changing people's businesses?
So I had been doing social media marketing training since around 2009. I started doing it for the seminar companies in 2010.
Hmm.
And I saw, from doing the training, I just saw a theme that people really needed help as far as content, like what content should they post. And so I was commissioned to do a webinar on content marketing
Hmm.
for a seminar company. And then when that webinar was over, I wasn't even thinking about writing a book. And then I was at this women's retreat. I was there to train them on how to leverage LinkedIn to attract more clients. And I got a chance to do my training with them. And then they let me stay with them. And I hung out, and it's all women retreat, and we're up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning talking and drinking wine. And I met an editor. And when I met her, I just had an epiphany. And I just thought, that 1 hour webinar, that could certainly be a book. And so we talked about it, and I signed a contract that night, paid for it that night. She said, well, you don't have to pay for it right now. I'm like, I have the money now. I should do it now because that's going to inspire me to get the work done.
Wow.
So I really wrote the book for entrepreneurs. Even in the work that I'm doing now, people are excellent and experts in their fields, but when it comes to social media, that's not their expertise, and they don't know what content to post. So the book has been really helpful as far as people figuring out what content they should post for their social sites.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do have an opportunity to interview lots of authors here on the Unstoppable You podcast, but very seldom do I have the book like right here for people to be able to see it.
That's it.
Because I'm also a Kindle girl, so a lot of times I'll have their book, but I won't have it physically in my office like I do right now. And I'm just going to tell you all, this book is for me, it's just an easy read in that I can read a chapter and get something that I can utilize. And I'll be honest with you, when I get stuck and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do to communicate with the people? I'll pick up this book. And literally, I've read the book, but I can literally go to 1 or 2 chapters and get something and feel like I can implement it right away. So
Yeah.
for those of you all who don't have Content Marketing, How to Get Started, The Little Pink Spoons Method by Lisa Ann Landry, please go get this book because it is a business changer for you. So make sure you do that.
It's available on Kindle too. If you're a person who rather have Kindle than a hard copy, it's on Kindle too. So,
Yeah.
and I'm really lucky because I have seminar companies that order about 2,000 a year from me. So it's just awesome.
Oh.
I feel like maybe I need to update it, but content strategy really doesn't change that much.
Mm-hmm.
The sites are changing, and the algorithms are changing, but no matter what those changes are, you still have to post content.
Wow. One of the things I also loved, Lisa Ann, is that I remember you talking about getting the book into different bookstores. And so many of us as authors, we'll write a book and then expect the world just to fall in love with it and go find it, and that is not a strategy.
No.
But you've been
No.
so tenacious and so dogmatic about making sure that it gets in front of the right people. Tell us why that is.
I have to thank my husband for that, because what he did was he researched the Black bookstores here in Atlanta where we live, and he found 3 of them. And we went to them. I had to submit my book for their review, and that one bookstore said they never reviewed a book so fast and accepted it so fast.
Wow.
So it's in 3 bookstores, and that's not enough. I mean, I have to go and speak, do little presentations at those bookstores and stuff to get known and heard about, and help them get notoriety, because they're small, business, Black-owned bookstores and stuff. But I'm excited they accepted my book in their stores.
Very good. Well, you know what? Small as they may be, there's not a lot of authors that I know who could say that their books are in the bookstore.
Really? Oh, cool.
So I will say that's a check mark.
So I'm big time.
Yes, you are indeed, for sure. I think I could probably answer this question for you because I have seen you in action. But tell our audience, what would you say is your sales secret? What's the thing that has helped you to be successful in acquiring new clients and finding people that want to bring you in as a trainer, and even the various other things that you might do?
I do a variety of different things. I speak, I do webinars, I call people up, and, calling folks is not my favorite thing, like most salespeople, but I have this statistic and this vision that I have in my head. And my vision is this, I'm out in a field. All the people I have to call, it's just a field of potential diamonds. And I'm not the first one I come across, probably won't be that diamond, but I got to keep looking for the diamonds because there are diamonds out there.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I got to read this statistic because this has made such a huge difference for me. The statistic says that 92% of all salespeople give up without hearing a 5th no from a customer. But research shows that 60% of all customers say no 4 times before they finally say yes. So, I'm going to call and send emails and text messages and Facebook posts and stuff to stay at the top of their mind and just keep checking in to see where they are and how things are. Right. And that's made a difference. I've called people 15, 20 times. And when I was new at this, I used to get mad, I call them, they never call me back, and I would be done with them and I'd move on. And that's just not how it works because people are really busy.
Yes, yes, yes. I think it's interesting because we think we are on the top of everyone's priority list. And,
No.
it's not that they don't like us. It's not that they don't want what we have to offer. Most times we have not positioned ourselves high enough on their priority list yet through
Yes.
consistency. So I'm
Yes.
really glad that you said that. So frequently people give up, not realizing that if they will just call one more time. There's a book by Greg Reed called 3 Feet from Gold. And it's literally like giving up right before you hit that gold mine. And
Mm-hmm.
I think most salespeople, as you mentioned, those statistics, I'm very familiar with those statistics. They give up right before that person is about to say yes. And this is what the heartbreaking thing is, Lisa Ann. It hurts so bad when you stop calling and then you find out later they bought from your competitor.
Right. They went
Meaning
to somebody else.
they were gonna buy if we would have just
Right.
one more time.
Right. Right.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, stop doing the pre-work for somebody else because they're going to
Exactly.
you do.
Exactly.
So tell us, Lisa Ann, what is one thing that you would say that our audience, those who are listening to us today, could do in their lives to make them more unstoppable in the way that they're doing business, whether it be in their social media life, whether it be in their personal development? You decide what area you want to focus on, but what's something that someone can implement immediately?
I would say for social media, do not expect immediate result, but be there, be present, posting, interacting, because by doing that, you're staying at the top of people's mind. Everybody doesn't need your service right at this time. But when they do need your service, they will remember you because you are always present and involved and around. So that's the one thing that's, I think, really people expect such immediate results from social media. And I just really think that's an unrealistic expectation.
Oh, wow. That is so good. And I think most people don't realize the investment that social media is.
Yes,
Feel
it's
like,
a huge commitment of time and research, research to find the right content, to find the right hashtags and keywords, and then to post those regularly. It's a huge time commitment.
So one thing we didn't talk about too much today, but I want our audience to know is Lisa Ann Landry is a LinkedIn expert, guru. I would say LinkedIn goddess. I mean, you know your stuff around social media, but I mean, I've heard you talk about LinkedIn in ways that I've never heard anyone ever teach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you all who are looking for someone to guide them in that area, make sure not only that you get the book, but you reach out to Lisa Ann Landry. And why don't you tell them how they can find you right now?
So you can find me, you can always call 602-793-9071. I have done a little transition in my business. So I have a new website and I wrote it down because I always forget what it is. It's ushagent.com/Lisa Landry. You can find me on LinkedIn at Lisa A. Landry. You can find me on Twitter at Lisa A. Landry. And I have a new business Facebook page. I would really appreciate it if you could help me to get 500 likes. It's at Insurance Lisa Landry. And I help educate people also about, health and wellness and resiliency and healthcare options. So my business is growing, and that's just one new line of business.
Very cool. I was just about to ask you to tell them a little bit about the new area. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I am so glad that you took a walk to talk to me today. I appreciate you joining me on the podcast. And I know that everybody is going to get a tremendous amount of value from the wisdom that you shared today.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So you all have heard it here that Lisa Ann Landry is the one to go to as it pertains to health and wellness and your insurance. She can also help you with your social media and LinkedIn and things of that nature, should that be something you desire. But at the very least, make sure that you implement the gems of information that you have heard today, because it can be life-changing. I do this podcast because I want women to have real confidence in business so that they can master sales conversations, network like a pro, and make life-changing income. Sometimes to do that, however, just hearing someone else's confidence story can be the springboard or blueprint in order for you to leap to your next level. And I hope that this episode has been able to answer some questions for you but also prompt some questions for you to be able to explore how you can become even more unstoppable. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you are on any of the various podcast apps that you might be listening to us on. If you are with us on the Facebook page, hit the like button and make sure that you enable those notifications so you can stay abreast of when we have more episodes of the Unstoppable You podcast. And I will be here next week to provide you with more information and more amazing guests that can be life-changing for you in your life and in your business. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and I will see you back here next time. Bye-bye. When you know who you are and you're clear about the big impact you're called to make in the earth, you are unstoppable.